This year is like the 2013. It will be remembered as a transition year between two console generations. WRC 9 is the one of the first racing games which will introduce the next gen in terms of graphics. But as you know, my video reviews are more technical and talk about physics and immersion. The previous year I told you how WRC 8 impressed me in terms of physics. Considering that, is WRC 9 a great successor and the definitive rally simulation we're waiting for? Or is it just a rebadged WRC 8? Let's find out. The tire's grip is one of the best elements on the WRC 9. WRC 8 already gave me a good feeling about that, but WRC 9 managed to improve this element even more. Car lose grip in a super realistic way in a gravel. I think it's the best racing game ever on this surface. On snow, car feels a bit too grippy and similar to gravel grip. But the sensations are quite still enjoyable, even with controller. The different tires compound make their return, and their choice is quite important in terms of wear and grip. The tire's deformation is present when you get a puncture, but even in the 9th game, the tire's pressure is completely absent. And that's a strange thing, considering the pressure is very important in rally. Same for tire temperature, completely absent, like WRC 8. Here we refined the same system we found in WRC 8. Visually nice and with a great impact on the drive between stiff and soft suspensions. Try to set the stiff suspension made for tarmac on a road made of gravel and you'll see how the car will suffer on bumps.
Left 4 into right 5.
Gravity system is realistic, takes off and landings feel very natural.
Flat left, bumpy 100.
But again, we find the same lags we found in WRC 8. No air track temperature. The wind is visual only, but it doesn't have an impact on the car. Talking about the weather effects, they are the same of the previous game, but since they were great on WRC 8, here in WRC 9 they are still great. There are great differences in terms of grip between wet and dry conditions, but as I told you before, I'm a bit perplexed about the grip on snow. Moreover, rear-wheel drive cars are too much of a steering with the full settings. Force feedback is great, somehow even better than the great one I found in WRC 8. Every bump is perfectly reproduced on the wheel and you can feel the understeer or the lack of grip on the front wheels on your hands. Visual damages are very well made, somehow even better and realistic than Dirt Rally 2.0. While on Dirt Rally 2.0 body deformation make the car seem made of rubber, visual damages on WRC 9 are more detailed and realistic. Of course, the damage system is noticeable not just on the visual part, but also on the performances and even on the force feedback. For example, for damages on suspension and wheels. In this case, the steering wheel vibrates to inform you about the damage. The weight and car balance are improved compared to WRC 8, which had a light pendulum effect on the weight transfers. All-wheel drive, front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive are well differentiated in terms of car reaction. Even if, as I told you before, the rear-wheel drive cars are too much of a steering in my opinion, even on tarmac.
Right 6 short, 18.
Like air and track temperature, also engine and brakes temperature are both absent. They don't have any influence on the car. In a 2020 food simulation, that's a serious lack. Setup is exactly the same from WRC 8, which it gives you the possibility to set up the car as a beginner with simplified settings, or as a pro with more detailed settings. It has a decent amount of settings, but as I told you before, you can change the tires pressure, which is an important lack for a rally game.
Into right 4 short, brake into hairpin left 30. Into left 5 bumpy, small cut, into right 4, 50.
Talking about Immersion, we can say the game really proposes again the same good features of the previous game. Car features such lights, wipers are manual. Penalties such jump start and delays in car repair are present.
20 hairpin left, into flat right, tightens 4 short. Into flat
A very
right,
interesting feature is the possibility to read the directions and instructions as a co-pilot in online mode with your friend. You get the instructions and you have to read them to your online friend, or the contrary.
very long, 30. And caution, right 3 short, into left.
Technically speaking, let's be honest, WRC 9 isn't a new game. It's just an evolution of WRC 8, which wasn't a bad game, be careful. But I'd really liked more changes in this 9 chapter. Considering this game is a transition between the current gen and the next gen, the developers wanted to work more on the graphics part than the physics part. And in fact, compared to WRC 8, WRC 9 is a beautiful game, graphically speaking. Moreover, it offers more content, more tracks, more cars compared to the previous game. And a developer told me you won't pay for the DLCs. More content will be added for free in the next month, like GT Sport. WRC 9 has the same lacks of the previous game, and some of them, like the temperature, are quite serious. But if you're searching for a game which has great realistic physics with great graphics, I can't deny this is actually the best rally game you can buy today. It isn't perfect, of course, no game is perfect after all, but no matter if you love rally or you're new in this discipline, the quality of WRC 9 is high and it's worth the money. If you own WRC8 already, I suggest you to buy WRC9 only if you want a graphics upgrade, you want more trucks and cars, you want slightly better engine sounds, you're interested in esports ranked events, you don't mind the lack of changes in terms of physics compartment. If you don't follow these 5 reasons I just told you, stay with WRC8. But surely, according to my experience, WRC9 won't disappoint you.